The hardest thing to do is start moving, engaging. Once you start to move and engage, you realize two things. One, it's not as scary as you thought it was. And two, you actually start enjoying what you're doing. The only thing that was scaring you was the first action. The moment you realize the next step isn't going to kill you, and that next step is the first step to evolving, changing, growing, and learning, and becoming literally the best version of yourself, that's the most beautiful thing. It's not going to kill you. And putting yourself in the game, you're giving yourself an opportunity to achieve something that everybody else said was impossible. And for me, I literally just want to have people understand that you have to move to start feeling something. And if you move and start feeling something, you're on your way. And if I can just get people to understand that you're in your own way and to open up Pandora's box, per se, then you'll truly find what your limits are. And I hope that you don't find your limits, that you exceed your limits. This is my biggest pet peeve. Like when somebody does something perceived as great, it's almost written off because they're assumed to be gifted. I always like to say that the secret to success is doing a lot of little things consistently over a long period of time. And I'm in the camp of it's a development process. Anybody can do it. And I had to start focusing on all the reasons and whys I was out there. And by themselves, one reason was not enough for me to get back on my bike and do 20 more Ironmans. But as I started going through the list of everything that I was doing and why I was doing it, it's interesting because I would gather them all together and I'd focus on this big ball, and I would bring it in close to me. And as soon as I focused on that, I started to experience a rebirth, because now I was focusing on the very, very next moment that I had control over. I do a lot of speaking from stage now, and I want to encourage people to find whatever their uniform is, find whatever their alter ego is. Because when you discover that and how to flip that switch, that's when nothing gets in your way, and that's where you shift your focus and you realize what your purpose is. We're moments away every day from a decision that's going to completely change our life. Every single moment of every single day has a massive impact on where you ultimately end up. And so that was a huge turning point, but it was all the decisions before and after that led to that moment. If the journey you're on is big enough, and it's going to have enough impact and change your life and other people's lives, one reason's not going to be big enough. And you need to put a lot of thought and a lot of preparation and a lot of meditation into all of the reasons why. Because at some point in time, you're going to need to gather all those little bad boys up and intently focus on it to have enough courage to get back up. I think it takes a dreamer with vision that has incredible work ethic, that has the ability to move and flow as things evolve and change. And to me, that is almost the perfect storm to achieve something that everybody has said impossible, because you have to be calm. You have to not listen to all of the chatter and the noise. You have to be able to block that out. You have to have extreme vision, and then nothing happens without that work ethic that I learned from my dad. It was the moment that I realized that I needed to stop listening to everybody else. We're surrounded today by people being satisfied with mediocre. And the moment I used someone else's standard of excellence, that was just enough to get me moving. And then you need to put that person aside or look past that person and create or do you. Create your own lane. And so for me, once I stopped looking at what everybody else was doing and then truly believed in what I could do, that, combining it with all those character traits that I talked about before, that's when human potential is truly can be found and experienced. And the only thing I'm trying to do is to get people to open their minds as to what is possible. We're living in a day and age where we're limiting what we think is possible. We're getting in our own way.